Everyone dreams of living an uncommon life, and the best asset you have to achieve your dreams is you. Welcome to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. We're going to introduce you to people who are living uncommonly. We're also going to give you some tools and strategies for building wealth and for pursuing an uncommon path that is uniquely right for you.
Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Philip Ramsey.
And I'm Aaron Kramer.
You know who we are.
Yeah.
Financial advisors who actually love what we do.
Yeah, that's rare.
In the world. It is rare. Anyway, grateful to be able to do this podcast. I love bringing guests to our audience and listeners that are doing uncommon things in an uncommon profession, and we have that today.
Yes. One actually close, dear to my heart.
Yeah. So tell me why you wanted him on the show, and then we're going to get him on the show.
He's amazing. So it's Jeremy Smith.
Okay.
Owns a gym.
What's the gym called?
The Bar Performance Gym.
Mm-hmm. Keep going, brother.
So this guy's amazing. Like, if you've seen me, you know me. I'm a meathead. And it's one area that I'm probably, I was overly confident in until I met Jeremy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's funny. Our story, me meeting Jeremy was funny because in my head, I was like, I want to have a guy teach me how to, I didn't know how to get to a 1 rep max for these heavier sets. I knew how to do more of a hybrid thing. In my mind, I was like, all right, I'm not paying anybody more than $50 a month. I know what I need to do. And I told him that. I was like, dude, I'm not paying more. He's like, that's fine. Just let's work out together. Yeah. I was like, all right, I'm not paying you more than that. Dude, we worked out twice together. I PR'd. He fixed a bunch of stuff. And he talked over my head in a way that, it wasn't big words. It was a very simplistic way. But it was going way over my head. I'm like, how much do you want?
Yeah. Take my money.
Take my money.
Okay. So Jeremy Smith, we have him on the show. We're going to walk through kind of his business model, what got him to the point of I'm going to do this by myself.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show, Jeremy Smith.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Let's just start with the obvious. Jeremy Smith and I went to high school together.
Yeah, we just found that out. That was mind blowing. For me.
Let me tell you what I remember about Jeremy Smith.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Yeah.
This will be good.
This is the first time I ever felt a speaker rattle my heart. Is in Jeremy Smith's car. No joke. Listening to, what is it? Dang it. Make you say,
Yeah, probably some No Limit stuff.
Yes! That was Jeremy Smith's theme song in high school. So I'm sorry to age us all so quickly, but man, Jeremy Smith is one of my guys in Dowling that I liked. Wasn't a lot of people there. They were great people. I just didn't really attach to it, but Jeremy Smith was one of them. So it's really fun to reconnect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got a family of 3 now, married 13 years.
13 years, 3 kids. Daughter 12, almost 12. My son just turned 10, and my youngest will turn 7 in a few days here.
That's great.
That's awesome.
And then, so how long have you owned the Bar Performance Gym?
So I will be closing out my 8th year here in March.
Wow.
I believe March was when I started. So 8th year, I'll be re-signing lease. I say closing out just because I've just finished my second lease there. So my first one was at a smaller place at about 3,000 square foot. My second one now is about 7,000 square foot, and I had a 5-year lease. So I'm about to re-sign again, and so it just kind of helps me do the math.
Yeah.
Since we've known each other in high school, I think this would be a fun question for you. I think what you're doing now is perfect for what the guy I knew in high school. But what did you think that you would turn out to be in high school?
Man, I think as any boy, who's playing sports or whatever, I thought that I would have, had a better run at maybe going to
professional.
The NFL or
Yeah, I get it.
Of course, but I never pictured myself being in the gym. It wasn't really even a big thing when we went to college. I know when I went to school, it was really I was looking for, I played football, but was looking for the easiest thing I could do, and it was
right.
Business management is what I got into, and I was why business management? Well, because I know I wanted to be my own boss, or I know I wanted to own my own business. And so, here and there, everything happened, and end up opening a gym, and it's pretty crazy. Lifting has been a passion of mine since probably, going into ninth grade, going into Dowling. I was kind of introduced to it there, and it's always been a huge part. And so to have it come full circle, and me, being able to pass this along to others is great, and work with youth athletes, and so it's just it's a big dream. So
Yeah, dude, that's really good.
Yeah.
How do you? Because did you ever have a job, like a real job, out of college?
not really, no.
Yes.
I didn't ever have.
You're kind of our spirit animal here at Uncommon Wealth.
Yeah, a real job at all. So really, kind of little story is, so my last semester in college, had to take, this would have been my fourth year. I was trying to graduate in 4.
Yep, I like that. I like that plan.
And so I had 18 or 19 credit hours that I had to take.
Yep.
Halfway through the semester, my advisor came to me and said, "Oh, well, actually, you're still a couple." Let me backtrack. I believe that might have been into the first semester. And so we were setting up my second semester, and we had to do this much or something. And
Gotcha.
it came down that I ended up having to take like 21 hours or something like that. So I wasn't,
Jeez.
Which is a full load.
I wasn't going to end up graduating. I was going to fall like 6 credit hours short or something like that. And so, I looked into, what I could do to finish that. But about that same time, my father had an ascending aortic aneurysm.
Oh.
And so that sprung a small leak in his aorta and paralyzed him from the sternum down. And so I moved up to take care of him, and thought that was a good idea. And man, that was just tough all around. You know? So that was a few years that we put into that, and
Wow.
so I think he lived for like 12 years with that. We did some moving around, ended up actually moving him back with us in Iowa. And that was a heck of a situation and heck of a strain on, excuse me for this, but, on our family.
For sure.
But we got through that, and, we were just joking about that the other day, man. If that's one thing that we could get through, if we could get through that,
we can get through anything.
We can get through anything.
Yeah.
So sorry to get broken up a little bit.
Well, you're good.
Wow.
But yeah, crazy situation. But
So
anyways,
you never graduated college?
I never ended up graduating.
You ended up going and hang out with your dad and trying to help him with
take
that?
care of him for a few years. At that time, I kind of got on, went down a bad road.
Yeah, say that, because I think your story is amazing.
Started coping in other ways, right? Yeah.
So, I really started partying. I was doing, ecstasy, cocaine, meth. I was getting after it for a while. And I just remember one time I don't know if I passed out or what. I was at this after party, and I just remember it coming to, and everything in my body was sore, all my muscles, and I was like, what's going on, and so I just, it's crazy to share this, but so I just kind of from that point on was like, man, this is I'm better than this. This isn't
Right.
me, and this whole time I got to say that the Lord has always kind of been with me a little bit. I kind of lost track a lot, but it always I'd end up going to church here or get invited, here. And so there was always those little things. And so I was kind of like, man, I'm better than this. And so I started to work towards that. And then I got in trouble, and went to jail for about a month. Got out and was on house arrest and moved back here to Iowa. And
Wow.
so I started working for a stone company, and then I was just kind of got back in the gym, and that helped get my confidence back. And somebody was like, "Man, you should start training people." 'Cause
You're pretty good at
people
this.
were asking me
Right.
questions, and so I got into that and started working with clients and a lot of self-taught and studying, crazy that I would, in school not study, but then, outside of school, it's all the stuff that interests you.
Yeah,
you end up studying.
Right.
Wow. And so that's kind of what got me here.
Holy cow.
Isn't that a cool story?
Way more enduring. Yeah, dude, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
One, I know it's hard to reenact that, but what a cool thing to like see where God took you from like the valley, like the lowest of lows, and like where you're at now, right? And what a cool thing. I think in my faith, that's really what he's done with me too. Like when you're the most broken, it's when he can use the most.
Yeah. Cause I mean, it's like for our listeners, cause Jeremy won't say it, but like, I mean, you've coached a couple women to the top of like, that was won worlds and then placed in worlds in powerlifting. So you coached like some really good athletes to the top, and then you coached other people as well. But I'm just like, I mean, you got all those, but like you've gotten to your knowledge all the way to the point where you have like top athletes working with you. You're training the Bucks, right?
And self-taught. I want to just emphasize that for a second, because I feel like that one is very uncommon.
Yeah.
But I almost respect that more. Here's why. Because going in college, you're going to be fed what they want you to study. Where how you did it was like, no, I think there's something here. I'm going to go study more. Oh, there's something here. I'm going to study more. So it was almost like this progress that you had to follow the breadcrumbs, if you will, to what you know now, which is super knowledgeable. I want to go back to one story that you had, because when you first said like, hey, I'll never pay you enough more than this, I loved Jeremy's response. Like, hey, let's just start working out. Like, because the self-confidence you had, like, I can get you where you want.
Yeah.
I feel like this is probably just your nature in and of itself. But there's a lot of people that would know as much as you do and look at Aaron and be like, all right, then let's just keep going on yourself and like just move on. Let's just part your ways. But like you cared enough to be like, well, let's just work out a couple times and then let your experience kind of talk. Yeah. That's super uncommon.
Yeah, dude, it was amazing. So I think like that was it. The first or second time we worked out, I was front squatting because I like refused to back squat at the time, and I was like, "Let's front squat." I think I'd only hit 405 for like one or two, and then like you was working with me, and then like you helped me stretch out a little bit, and then changed a couple things, and then I hit like 405 for like 5 that day.
Cow.
And I was like, "What?"
This weight just means like I'd be crushed. So it just is all a lot of weight. Let me go back to the lowest of the lows. Like, where do you go from there? You wake up from being passed out and your whole body's sore. Like, what does that first step look like?
Man, I wish I remembered it clearly, more clearly. But I think I just remember in my head saying, this is not the life for me. I'm
right. You're destined for greater.
For more.
Right.
Absolutely. And so it wasn't like a light switch flipped. I still had a lot of issues to figure out. And like I said, but I think it's crazy. I started working this job. You guys laugh at this, but it actually taught me a lot of like just being in your own business and dealing with people and all that. But I worked a job selling fake cologne and perfume, and I would go business to business. And this is up, Minneapolis, man. We would go to strip malls. We would go to, like gas stations, late night after the clubs. I mean, did everything because whatever you bought,
you had to sell
these bottles for a certain amount. So whatever you sold them for, you kept all the profits. And so it definitely wasn't that profitable of a business, but it taught me how to accept no and have people keep going. Because you'd walk into a business sometime, man, people would be like, "Get the F out," and sometimes you just can sit and talk to somebody or joke with them and calm them down or whatever. But I think it just teaches you how to deal with a lot of different walks of life, and I think that's also been a big benefit in training people because I work with youth athletes to You know, I've got a 70-year-old client in there now who works out with my wife, and she just kills it. You know, I mean, she was deadlifting over 200 pounds the other day. You know, I mean, she just rocks it. You know,
that's amazing.
It's that's for me the true joy of this. You know, I mean, this definitely isn't a $1 million business that I'm in, you know, but it
doesn't need to be.
Me doing what I love to do and having family time and still have a positive effect on, you know, people around me.
And impact other people.
Yeah.
I like how I think the process of you becoming who you are today, you had to work on yourself first. And I feel like that's a really good thing to take away for our listeners now. It's like, if you want to ever achieve anything, you first have to work on yourself.
100%.
And what you did is like, I don't know how, you've always been in pretty good shape. Let's just be frank.
Yeah.
But what you ended up doing is cleaning yourself out mentally. Mm-hmm. And then you started focusing on your philosophy, moving yourself in, okay, I'm going to train myself. I'm going to be serious about this. I'm going to figure it out. And then once you did that, and I think that that's like a walking billboard, right? People are like, hey man, like, you're shredded. Can you help me? Yeah. Is that how it went? Or am I just assuming?
I mean, you know, I'll tell you what, I think the people that say that more, that I notice that from, are the ones that don't end up, you know, coming in and looking for training or doing that, you know, it's, so I don't know. I'm sure it helps. I'm not saying that it doesn't help. You know, I'm sure somebody seeing that, it gives them maybe a little bit more comfort, or knowing that, hey, obviously
you walk the walk and talk the
walk.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a big deal.
I've been in the trenches doing that stuff for a lot of years, and I think that's obviously just what helps me out with, you know, with the confidence of it. You know, and there's you've got so many different training philosophies out there and so much new stuff, and everybody's got this, you know, but I think that, you know, the basics will still always be, you know, always be beneficial, you know, and there's so many people that try to jump past the basics, you know, too quickly, and you can go back and revisit those things and do a lot of different things to really increase your performance and all that, you know, without having to do all that fancy stuff, you know, right away. And there's a time and place for it, you know, but...
So when is it that you're like, I'm going to write my name on this lease to do this? Like, that is a scary situation.
Yeah, it is. It was scary, you know. So I was working at Aspen. That's where I started out at. And imagine that, you know, I didn't get along well with... the owners or management, if you could imagine that. Well, you know, so it's always kind of been my thing. I've always, you know...
Push back.
I've always been my own person. But, you know, so it came down to, I ended up saying something back to owner or something like that. And I got fired from Aspen, which actually worked out in my benefit because I was able to take my clientele. You know, they couldn't hold them, you know, if they fired me. So if I left and then took them with me, they could do something. So anyways, I went down the street and started working with a few of them at this little Snap Fitness, and had a decent clientele built up, and I wanted to start doing just like some small group training, and just more like an individualized training, but so I could work with more people than just if I did an hour-long one-on-one training. You're just limited to, you know,
that one person,
and then you really have to charge a lot of money, you know. So I mean, it's anyways. So I started working there, and then the owner of one of the boot camp places around town talked me into coming out there, saying that, you know, they were wanting to do, you know, a certain kind of like small group training, which intrigued me. And about that time that I went over there, they had got into their boot camp stuff, and their boot camp classes grew huge. And so I was kind of I had some of my clients that I would still work with in this small group format. And so it got to the point where, you know, my clients, their weights would be getting cleared off the bar, we'd be pushed back to the back room, and And so I just kind of started feeling people out and seeing, and that's always a scary thing because a lot of times people will say, yeah, man, we're going to come with you, and
they
then
don't.
when it comes down to it, they don't. And really, I've been pretty lucky in the places that I've gone with my clients to be able to follow me, but it just came down to I started looking at some places, and I was able to find a little place over on 100th Street. It was a little 3,000 square foot place, and I was lucky enough to have a great client at the time who I helped just get some amazing results. And so she gave me a interest-free loan.
Oh, nice.
To get my first bit of equipment. And so I got that, and then I just paid her back. So within 2 years, I had her paid all back.
Beautiful.
And slowly started kind of building, buying equipment here and there. And I was there for 3 years and ended up getting, training the Bucks. And so that just kind of, there was 20, you get 25 kids in there, and it was a little 3,000 square foot place, and it was longer than it was wider, and so, so it was
dangerous,
pretty
almost
crazy. Yeah. So anyways, I was able to find this new place, which, just about doubled my square footage. And
where's it at? Like location wise?
Down on Lower Beaver Road.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Kind of the back way to Ankeny.
Yes. I know where that is.
Yeah, so right by Beaverdale Little League.
Yeah.
Just about right across the street.
That's where we bike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was able to get that place, and man, it's been awesome. It's allowed me to open up to like an open gym format to people, so I can do a 24-hour access. I just have a key code there, so people can come and go as they please. So that's been huge because the place before was pretty much, just like small group training or be with a personal trainer, and so now I'm able to at least bring in some passive amount of income where I don't, I can sell a membership and they can come in and I do it that way. I don't have to train them or do that, but then, I'll offer programming or training or whatever. But
two things. One, three things. One, I think I've seen it. Do you have like a Hulk Hogan or like a Hulk on? Yeah. I saw that. Yeah. My family and I were driving by. I was like, dude, that looks like a cool place.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Okay, two, then I want to give you some time to talk about your spouse.
Okay.
What's her name?
Rochelle.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about Rochelle and her support in this whole process, because one thing that I will tell you with confidence is people don't go down this uncommon path successfully without the support of their spouse. So let's talk about that, because I love this time of the podcast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we go back. It's, it goes back to even when we first started, and just even, being with a personal trainer or whatever that was just starting the business. I would be at Aspen from 4 a.m. till 7 p.m. We lived in Ankeny. Then I, sometimes I'd sleep in the car, and then, so that,
And you were married when you were doing this?
I don't know if we were married yet at that time.
Together.
But we were together, and we did live together. So that, that in itself is huge. But, then to even go on and think about, starting my own business,
taking a loan out from somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a whole deal.
And she's been, nothing but supportive. Like not even a doubt or like a question of, is this the right thing? And so that's 100% hard to find. That's
Rochelle runs almost harder than you do, sometimes.
She's like, so at the time, she definitely was still killing it in her work, but not near, what she's grown to now. And she's a story in herself, because she, doesn't have a college degree, and she's a director now at a bigger, insurance firm, and she's just killing it.
Wow.
And so, obviously, I got to point out the fact that, she's had a stable job. This is something that I could have never done she not had a stable job, but she, worked that, and she would bartend, at the boathouse.
Doing the deal.
She just kills it, but that's all also set up by, her mom and grandma. That's just their, that's their
DNA.
Yeah.
That's their DNA.
They
Exactly
just work.
right. Yeah.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just carries on. She's just such a hard worker, and but yeah, she is no doubt ever, about can we do this successfully and all that. And so there's always it's obviously trying times, and any time that you're starting your own business, and we'll see. We'll just keep kicking along, and it's
kind of like termites,
keep pushing forward.
You're just like a termite. As long as you don't go away, you got a shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead. I feel like I'm Kaibo.
No, you're good.
I just got so many questions. I love it.
I know the whole story, so it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't know what to say, but like, I don't. It's fun to watch you and Rochelle like kick butt at this gym thing. Like,
what's her role now inside the gym?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing.
Just works out.
Yeah, she comes in every morning
with her workout buddy, 7-year-old workout buddy,
and Sheila, and then another lady, Andy. Those three are pretty constant, and then another a lady that she works out at a different gym, but comes over every Saturday.
Yeah.
So Michelle, and so they kind of all have their little workout group, and they're in there 6 days a week in the morning, and she's been killing it there. And then she goes home, and she used to work at Nationwide, so she'd have to go downtown. Now she works from home, so that's just amazing in itself. She can go home and she's just right there for kids need anything or whatever.
Right. What church do you guys go to now?
So we go to Revision Church.
Oh, interesting.
And
Nice.
Revision, are you familiar with that? Okay, so Revision is usually in the Clive Learning Academy.
Okay,
right down
library and everything. Yeah.
Right down in do you know where the Bucks Arena is?
Yes.
So is that 72nd? And I think you're going towards Walmart.
Yes. Okay.
So there's that school right there.
Okay.
And so that's where Revision is.
Nice.
Right now we're actually in Indian Hills
Okay.
because I think they're doing some construction. But man, Mike Howard is our pastor. It's just awesome. I mean, we love
That's
it there.
so good, man.
It's unfortunate we don't get to go as much. Wrestling season, softball and baseball and all that's all. Always ends up being on Sundays. But any Sunday that we have, man, we try to make it over there.
It's really cool.
Yeah, huge part. And so big part of her family too. She grew up like more Southern Baptist, but
okay.
But then her parents, then everything kind of got to more of a non-denominational. Her grandparents, still, and her aunt and uncle, I think, still kind of stayed a little bit more Southern Baptist. But her dad and mom and all that, I think, I don't know. But anyways, that's
right.
What
this is a
Christian
crazy question that you probably won't get to ask in all your interviews that you're doing. But you're going to send your kids to Catholic?
No,
private. I'm not either.
So I'm not against it, and I've said, hey, what about Dowling for the kids? She's like,
hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass. So, but she has been open to Des Moines Christian.
Okay.
But their wait list is
so long. Yeah,
and,
no joke.
I mean, you look at it. You send 3 kids there. I mean,
dude,
what, close to 30 grand?
Yeah, she's going to bartend again. That's what that means.
Yeah. I thought maybe I'd close my gym and open like a batting cage or something like that. Anyone come do those things are always packed.
Let's talk about your business model, because I feel like that's a lot of our business owners that listen to this. They always are intrigued with business models. What is your business model? And you kind of mentioned it a little bit before, where now you have this anytime, 24 access, that kind of stuff. But
it didn't start out that way, though, because that was like the difference between you. Like, you were cheaper than most people, but because you had I thought this was amazing because you did figure it out. The fact that after you help somebody a few sessions, you help them 6 times, 12 times, let's just say 24 times because they're brand new, they don't need you hovering over them 24/7. Mm-hmm. So you could have 4 or 5 clients going at once, and you're just going back and forth between all of them, helping all of them, making more money in that hour, but they're paying a lot less than what it would to just have you one-on-one.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. It got to be. The thing was that when I was at Aspen, it was all like one-on-one stuff, right? So you'd sell packages, right? And so it was like, some sessions ended up being like $55 a session, if I can't even remember what it was, if you bought so many deals or whatever. And so, it just, after a while, like, I think one-on-one stuff was a great way for me to start. I got to say that, because it really gave me the time to analyze everybody's movement. And I worked with so many, so saying that I was self-taught, I mean, I really would watch people, and I was on them with that, and everybody comes in with different, problems or movement pattern issues. And so that was great for me starting out. And I think that's what really helped me kind of develop like the small group individualized training. And that's what I call it more. And so that would allow me to work with more people within about the same amount of time. I don't ever give anybody like, okay, we're only here for an hour, right? Now, your workout may be, 45 minutes to an hour and 10 minutes, just depending on what we have to get done that day, but, or maybe if you talk to somebody a little bit more.
Yeah, like me.
It may be a little bit longer, but I'm never like shoving you out and like, okay, our hour's up, I got to move on to the next person, right? And so that allowed me to be able to get my hands on more people, right, and pass my knowledge along to more people, but not have to charge. I mean, look, you go to Lifetime, what is it? $100
crazy
some dollar, $120 for an hour.
Right.
Who needs
that?
Somebody to look. I mean, you got to really, maybe have some issues or something like that to have somebody.
You got goals you want to obtain if you're going to do that.
Really.
Right?
I mean, you got to have something serious, because most of the stuff, that's what I kind of backtrack and I'll say, a lot of the basics get overlooked, I mean, nobody needs to pay somebody $120 for an hour to show most people the basics. Not that many people are so advanced that they need some crazy stuff going on,
That's a really good point, because there's only so much time that you have, and your body can only take so much. So do this lift, do that lift, do this lift. Like, I can't remember what the first lift was. Yeah. So like a whole hour of that's a long time.
Well, but even in here, and here's the big thing. This is what I noticed with a lot of one-on-one stuff, though, is my clients did not get any confidence in the gym. And to me, that's what the gym is all about, right? If you're not confident in there and with your lifting and that stuff, it's the same way on the football field or something. If you're hesitant, right? If you go into hitting somebody and you're hesitant, you don't go into it.
Yeah.
Man, you're the one that's
you're gonna get
taken
hurt
down. Yeah. And so that's the same thing, And so if you go into the gym, it's about building confidence, right? And so that would be like, okay, if you're doing bench press, I'm going to go over and get your dumbbells for you, right? And then when you're done with that, I'm going to take your dumbbells and I'm going to put them back.
Right.
And then I'm going to get your next set of dumbbells.
Yeah.
And then over here, I'm going to put your weight on this deal. And
brilliant.
And so then
but you're taking away the confidence that they could be building.
Right. And so what happens when you leave? So what happens when I go on vacation or something like that? Even if I'm like, okay, here, I'm going to write up a program for you or a workout for you, still didn't get done.
Right.
Because they're not used to going in, getting their weights and, finding their way around. Here's a bench that I got to get to. Here's, and so it's all like they would be lost. And so what happens then? Somebody buys 24 sessions from me and that's all that they can afford. And I'm going to teach them this stuff and I'm going to, try to teach them this stuff, but I'm going to be handing them their weights and we're going to be like right here. And then that's all that 24 sessions, then they're going to be off on their own trying to, follow this path or, continue on their journey, and they haven't gained any confidence to go in there and do stuff. And you see it, a lot with women, but even with guys too, but obviously a lot more with women, that way. But so that's kind of, how I developed what I was
business model.
doing is, I could work and get my hands on more people.
Okay.
Probably afford them time to have more sessions with me, over time. I get to have, 3 to 5, 7 people in there at the same time, charge them less, but can still walk around the room and say, oh man, that set looked good, or, see them from, that's kind of the way I design the gym the way that I can, so I can see everything, no matter where I'm at. So if I see somebody in the back corner doing something or struggling or looking confused, I can run over there and help them out. Or, if somebody needs a spot on something, or, so that's kind of just how.
And now it's evolved to like you got the keypad where people can go in and
you got the trainers there now. You got like,
how many trainers do you have working for you?
So now I just have 2 trainers there. So I don't say they're not really working for me.
Right.
I just do I just charge them percentage of whatever they bring in.
Okay.
So so if you haven't picked up earlier when I said, the whole authority thing, it kind of goes back to even the whole corporate thing. I'm so anti-corporate anything, which I think, if we're being honest, it probably affects my business a little more negatively,
right.
Than it helps it. But, just a lot of those little things. So I don't want to employ anybody. But that's fine. They can just pay me a percentage. But then I just cap their percentage at $1,000. So, whatever they bring in. So, they could run a very successful business and only end up having $1,000 of overhead.
Nice.
So I try to be pretty fair.
Brilliant.
But again, I don't go back. I don't do any advertising like I probably should, and so, but I just kind of like where, where
word of mouth works really well.
Yeah, true.
That's the thing.
So what's the future?
Well, I think I mentioned this before. It looks like I'm going to be re-signing, a lease. So it's either that or, or I don't know, sell the equipment and try to go sell floors with my buddy. I don't know. So it looks like it's going to be another, big commitment, 5 years, and that's usually what we're looking at. I haven't talked to him yet to see, but the unfortunate news of all this is that with everything going on with the Bucks, I don't have them anymore, so that's a little disappointing.
Sure.
Because that was fun. I was with them for I think 5 or 6 years, and it was kind of an abrupt stop. But I think with seeing everything that's been in the news and all that, we can see why.
I haven't seen what's in the news, but I'll look that
later.
up.
Yeah, look later.
Yeah, but anyway, so it's good for. I think it will allow me to be able to work with more high school athletes and so
sure.
Because I've got a couple other small young kids baseball teams and that stuff,
good.
and so that will open up a little bit more time there. So
one door closed, another door opens.
Oh yeah,
exactly
for sure.
right.
That's how it works.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I will say this, Aaron, you'll like this. You got to check this out. I don't know if you've seen it, but we have the Iowa Sumo Club.
I saw that.
Is at the gym. So
you have no idea how excited I am.
They're doing a seminar there. I think it's on the 19th or something like that. So it's their second one. The first one, I think there was 12 or 15 people there. A couple guys from maybe Chicago and Minneapolis or something. I don't know, but it's just interesting. It's so funny. So I have some wrestling mats there that I got for my kids, and they just weren't being used as much. And there's another guy who does strongman, and he ended up meeting this guy who's so funny. He's so passionate about sumo and all this, but he is smaller than both me and you, and it's just great.
That's
but
great.
He just is passionate about it and started this deal, and so he's been doing amateur sumo stuff for a while. But
wonderful,
that might be something you'd like. Come on, Aaron.
I saw the couple of the guys post something. I was like, oh man, till they get some bigger guys in there, that'd be cool.
There's a couple big guys in there.
Is there?
Yeah.
I didn't know getting hurt again.
Oh man.
Well, that's our thing. Is I feel like every time I try to do something competitively, I break.
You'd have fun, man.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you say that because we just went to the Dells it was 2 weekends ago, and there's this new place up there called Natura something, and so they've got this other couple properties that it's this, I don't know, it's so anyways, we got a hotel room hotel room for the family, $250 for the night. But then you got like these 6 little parks or whatever that you can go to. And this one park is a man-made lake, and it's got this huge like blow up obstacle course.
Okay.
And so we're you got to wear a life jacket and all that, but all the kids are all over.
Having a blast.
Okay, I'm gonna go on there and try it. And so there's this little hill thing that you try to run up or walk up, and so I'm trying to run up it, right? Oh man, my leg slipped out. I about tore my groin away from my pelvis. I'm like, oh man, I just can't do it. I said, I got to move slow. No more fast stuff anymore for me. I'm getting too old. It's just slow moving stuff.
It's like, yeah. See, we just got to be, we're meant to watch now. Just watch people.
Dude, Jeremy, I love your story. I love that you've not only adapted, but you overcome so many things. And I love the faith component throughout the whole thing. Like, you've been a joy. You are truly uncommon, and that's the reason why probably I liked you in high school.
Yeah.
So congratulations on your success. And so if anybody wanted to hear more about you, how would they get in contact with you?
So I'm on Facebook, the Bar Performance Gym, also Instagram. Email would be thebarperformancegym@gmail.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Or reach out to me and I'll get you over to Jeremy.
There you go. That's a good idea. So you've been listening to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. I've been your host, Philip Ramsey.
And I'm Aaron Kramer.
Until next time.
That's all for this episode, brought to you by Uncommon Wealth Partners. Be sure to visit uncommonwealth.com to learn more about our services. Don't miss an episode as we introduce you to inspiring people who are actively pursuing an uncommon life.